Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Tech Now. Tonight, the wires that deliver telecom to the office more important than ever and giving rise to a new industry that figures out how to make it happen. Plus, using video games at school to get our kids more active. And a YouTube viral video on how the birth of Christ would play out on today's social media. When many of us go to work, we rely on modern telecom to help us do our job. And all this is getting more complicated with the net, IP phones, and so on, so it's more vital than ever to a company's success. Tonight, a behind-the-scenes look at how an Ottawa company makes it come together. You must be shocked sometimes by what people leave behind.
All the time. It's unbelievable.
It might be of value to somebody else. Chances are it's not.
Probably not.
A lot of it ends up in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just technology is amazingly disposable.
It is.
We live and die by it, it seems, for a while.
Every 3 to 5 years, we have a brand new set, particularly at the office level. And we can see that right here in this space.
Let's just take a little bit of a walk. Yeah. Pile of stuff on the floor.
Pile of equipment left behind.
Yep.
Derek Hansen is with the Attain Group, an Ottawa engineering firm that was first to get into the business of dealing with telecom in office buildings. Sometimes the aftermath of a client moving out isn't pretty.
So here's a pretty good example of a room that's been left behind. You know, the tenants moved out and the technology is left behind. And in this case, we have to decide, can we reuse some of it? Can we take it away? Do we, can we recycle it?
Hansen says telecom now makes up about 10% of the total cost of outfitting an office, and it's being viewed just like water or hydro.
Go into any modern office complex, and what are probably the two things that people want? They want a phone and they want internet access. And if you're going to get that, you're going to have a little room like this hidden away somewhere. This is where all your telecommunications gear is.
Telecom closets come in all shapes and sizes, usually jammed with an assortment of wires and machines. This is what it looks like when a client leaves and just cuts the wires. This is one of the most modern equipment rooms in the city, and there appears to be little here, yet it serves a big office tower. The change is new fiber optic lines. They can handle the equivalent of 5,000 phone lines at once, so it's a few fiber lines versus thousands of phone lines.
This one's a little different.
Isn't it? So
Looks different.
Yeah.
Does it do the same thing?
It does.
In some of the rooms, it's a trip down telecom memory lane. Gear from 10 or 15 years ago that just keeps working, but more and more the fiber lines are coming in as tech changes. Some building developers now go to companies like Hansen's 3 years before they start building in order to figure out what they need.
This is a concept design of a 2-tower complex being built. What are all the things that need to go into these buildings to give you telephone, internet, security, audiovisual, video conferencing, all the technology?
We expect to be there.
And yeah, exactly. When somebody comes to work, they just want it to work. They don't care how it gets there, they just want it to work.
The next step is the drawing up of plans. In this case, it's a retrofit, so hand-drawn descriptions of the space available and services needed are the start of designing 3D modeling of how best to lay out all the wires and the rest of the gear. In this case, the client wants a 1-meter-high telecom storage unit under the office floor.
If I looked at the financial statements of any organization, the first cost is labor, the second is facilities, and the third cost is technology. So it's at least the third most important thing in any building, in any business.
If you look around your office, you'll see the cabling that strings our lives together. Hansen calls himself the Internet Plumber. You may not always see his work, but you certainly hope that it works properly.